Hello everyone and welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. Apologies if you can hear some sort of whirring noise in the background. It's very warm and very humid at the moment, so I've got to have my fan on. Otherwise I will melt while doing this review. But we're going to be taking a look at a very rare Swiss Army knife, discontinued unfortunately. One I picked up for an absolute bargain at Malvern Flea Market on the weekend. I went there with Mikey, Sean, Lynn and Mark from MBEDC. Had a wonderful time, picked up quite a few Victorinox knives, some for parts because they've got bits that are cool, like little clip point blades. Also picked up this as well, which is going over to Dan for a bit of a restoration, sort of touch-up, clean-up sort of thing. This is an early sort of camper, but you've got the corkscrew, there's a saw in the middle there. Unfortunately, the cap lifter is broken, or the can opener is broken, so that's going to be replaced, but it does need some TLC. You can see the pin scales there are a bit bust, but yeah, he'll sort that out. But yeah, we're going to be taking a look at a discontinued one, and it is the Gourmet we're going to be taking a look at. And this is very similar to the Bantam, similar to a couple of different ones with the one layer sort of Swiss Army knives. This one is 84 millimeters in length, which equates to, I think it's about 3 1/4. Yeah, roughly 3 1/4 inches. And this is a pretty old one. You can see we have the very old style nickel silver shield, but you've got the cross inside the shield, and you can see the little lines touching up on either side of the plus. So that's all one bit there, and that's inlaid absolutely beautiful in that cellar door. Obviously it's quite scratched up because it is a secondary knife, and you know, for the price I paid for it, which, you know, gobsmacked. I saw this on someone's sort of stall while I was there on the weekend. I looked at it and thought, oh, old cross, and I opened it up and all the tools are working and it was in fantastic condition. And I said, you know, how much do you want for that? Expecting, you know, quite an amount, and he said £5. I could not have snapped the money out of my pocket any quicker to pick this up. But yeah, it's the Gourmet, single layer, 84mm. You get the master blade here, and you'll notice something to help dating: Victorinox on the tang, and then the Victorinox Switzerland stainless and Ross Fry on the reverse of this one. So quite an old piece here, but you can see there's plenty of blade left. I've put a little edge on this and given it a bit of a basic cleanup, but yeah, this would do you a full day's work without any trouble at all. And what more of a beautiful little knife could you want in your pocket for a day? You know, if you go into for an office carry or anything like that, even if you go into an event, anything, these little slim Victorinox knives are perfect for a pocket dropper. But yeah, main blade is a reasonable length, one that's not going to cause any sort of scares and about. It's probably 2.5 inches when it was new, maybe have a little bit sharpened off, and then just shy of 2 1/4 inches in the cutting length. Yeah, closer look at the Victorinox on the tang. And you'll notice the blade stock is a little bit thicker than normal. You can see where they've thinned it out here, where there's a little step down just at the top of the blade. But yeah, beautifully straight blade, not been abused in any way, shape or form. The other tool then you get on the front is you get this beautiful little clip point blade, and it's such a shame they stopped doing these because I think they're absolutely fantastic. Now you will notice, I think there's like 1 or 2 slight little bends in the blade. The main one being here, but I mean, when I'm saying main, it's not, you know, taking anything away from the blade whatsoever. It's not bent, it's just someone maybe have used it to scrape something and it's just sort of dinged the edge. But it's taken a sharp edge, there's no chunks out of the blade, it's just a little bit warped. I mean, it's probably the best way to describe it. But you can see the use on there as well. No swedging, nice little Victorinox nail nick on there. I love the little clipped point at the end there. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And that blade is, where are we? 1 6/8, and then a cutting edge of 1 1/2, or maybe 1 5/8, something along those lines. But beautiful little clip point blade, and you can see the thickness is quite a lot less than the other blade. So we do have a little spacer in there, nickel silver spacer just here. So there's no blade wobble or anything like that. But the action on these is absolutely beautiful for the age of this knife. They're easily a 6 1/2 as I throw the knife onto the desk. And then the last tool we have on here is the corkscrew, and this would also help any of you buffs wanting to date the knife. This is the 5-turn corkscrew, whereas the more modern ones only have a 4. No pin slot, and you can see that there, just sits beautifully in that channel. We also have no keyring on this, so this is a definite pocket dropper. But you can see the groove going down the entire corkscrew there. And this thing, although I said I've cleaned it up a little bit, I've not done a whole lot. Sort of wiped off the scales, cleaned off the dirt, flushed it, oiled it, and put a bit of an edge on the blades. I've not done anything major with this at all. But I'm very happy with this pickup for £5. I mean, even if you weren't really into Victorinox or into Swiss Army knives, I mean, if I wasn't and I saw this for £5, I'd be picking this up because it's absolutely fantastic. And it didn't even go there at the start of the day. This was maybe halfway, 2/3 of the way through the whole day. So a load of people have walked past this and not picked it up, which really surprised me. But that just shows how many people are out there looking for knives. It's, you know, it's quite, although they say it's a lot looking for the Sheffield pruners and not as much, you know, things like this. But that is the Victorinox Gourmet. Now, I did do a review of another one of these. It would have been a more modern one with a pen blade instead of the clip blade, but you can go back and watch that if you wish. But they're pretty much the exact same knife, minus that slight little change on there. But again, 5-turn corkscrew, main master spear blade, beautiful Victorinox tang stamp with a crossbow below, and then we have Victorinox Switzerland stainless and Ross Fry on the back. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this review of a vintage Victorinox Gourmet. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.